Good morning, TJ.
Morning. I got those emails. I don't have any paperwork on Coburn.
Well, it shows somebody was his lawyer and you were assigned to replace him.
Not that I'm aware of.
616 Attorney Reed, defense counsel changed. So you show as it's set for an attorney pretrial next Friday. I'm assuming you won't have any objection to
None at all. I mean, listen. I mean, it sounds like the guy needs to get the heck out of the jail. Open head wounds, infections, and jails don't mix.
Yeah, let me see if I can get him in here.
Okay.
And Debbie. Good morning, Deputy Schrader, Judge Middleton calling. Could I see Chris Coburn down at the Polycom room or the arraignment room? Yes? I saw your email. Is he in the hospital? All right, we'll make a record without him being here, I guess. All right, thank you. All right, bye. He's at the hospital.
What's he even charged with?
He's charged with an assault and battery and a larceny. The bonds he had missed some hearings, and that's why the bonds were high.
Because I don't know. I don't know anything about him. I'm happy to be a body in the chair, not objecting on behalf of a defendant's rights to get treatment.
All right. I'll send Debbie an email and tell her we need her help on Coburn.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'll be waiting for just a minute. Well, good morning, everyone. Let me just take track of who's here. We've got Heather Schrock. We got Jason Lytle. He's got 2 cases. We got Matthew Cross. We got John Spellins. These are hard to read. Somebody put purple on them. We got Antonio Tate. Missing a couple people. We have a lot going on this morning. This is Judge Middleton. I'm over at the courthouse. You're here for a proceeding. Most of you are here right now for an arraignment. The arraignment is the process where the judge tells you what you're charged with and asks you how you wish to plead to the charge. You've all logged in virtually and I got your names down. I appreciate you logging in a timely manner. I'm not sure how much longer the world is for Zoom court. The Supreme Court has directed us to all go to phase 4, and courts are about to be opening up. And we'll do it the old-fashioned way where you actually come into the courthouse. Also with us on the feed is Timothy Reed. He's the Sturgis City Attorney. I expect the public defender, Jeanette Jackson, to join us here in a minute. Let's start with Mr. Lytle. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can, Your Honor.
All right, we have 2 issues. File 202624SM. You're charged with retail fraud in the 3rd degree and you didn't show up for your sentencing. Bench warrant issued and you got picked up on the bench warrant. Your attorney in that matter is Paul Gibson. We've been chasing you around since February trying to accomplish the sentence on that retail fraud charge. You got a new charge. It's alleged in file 21160SM that on or about January 9th, you did an assault and battery, an illegal entry, and another illegal entry on Braxton and Philip Flowers, or Braxton Flowers and Philip Hopkins. Those are all misdemeanors punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. You keep not showing up and getting picked up on bench warrants. Are you at the Lakeview Avenue address?
Yes, I am, Your Honor. And there was some confusion with that because it started with Judge Patterson and I took the plea deal, and he wanted to see what was going on with the assault and battery or whatever, and that never happened. And so that got dropped to a disorderly conduct, and he wanted to sentence me both at the same time, but for whatever reason, we never received a court date for it. So.
All right. Well, you got arrested in June and you posted a bond in each case.
Right.
My suggestion is you plead not guilty. I appoint Mr. Gibson to assist you with both of these, and we get these matters on track. Is that acceptable?
Yes, that sounds good, Your Honor.
I'm gonna cram this in next Friday, which is already very busy, but we've got this old case, set attorney pretrial for 7/2/21 at 10 o'clock. Appoint attorney Paul Gibson. Also set sentence in the retail fraud charge for the same time and date. All right, we'll send you that information to the Lakeview address. Does your phone number end in 3145?
No, it does not, Your Honor.
All right, I want you to call the court and give us your current phone number so we can reach you if we need to. All right,
Okay.
your both cases are set for next Friday, July 2nd at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, you're good to go. You need to talk to Mr. Gibson, your attorney.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll remove you from the session. All right, good morning, Mr. Stickley. Mr. Reed, let's take up some of your matters. You've got Antonio Tate. He came over to the courthouse. Mr. Tate, I do appreciate that. We are open for business. You're in the conference room. That's always been an option if you don't have Zoom capabilities. So I appreciate your coming over here early this morning. This is file 21-12020T, People versus Antonio Tate Jr. That's you, sir? Mr. Tate, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You got charged with driving suspended. It's alleged that on or about June 11th, you were in the city of Sturgis driving a vehicle and your license was suspended. Let's take a look at the ticket. The ticket says that this happened at 1845 on West Street and Jefferson Street. You're an Indiana resident, and your driving record's got a bunch of baggage on it from Michigan and Indiana. Anyway, driving suspended is probably our most common offense. It's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Carries 2 points on your driving record. Mr. Reed, is there any plea offer in this case?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Your option is to enter a plea of guilty or enter a plea of not guilty. If you plead not guilty and you ask me to, I can appoint an attorney to assist you in this matter. What would you like to do, Mr. Tate?
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Let me ask you a couple questions. Did anyone promise you anything to get you to plead to this
No.
or threaten you?
No.
Now, the Chief Public Defender, Mr. Stickley, is here, and he's available to talk to privately if you wish to consult with an attorney. If you wish to do that, I'll put you in a separate room. Or if you wish to simply plead guilty, we'll proceed.
I also had a question though.
All right, well, let you talk to Mr. Stickley. And he's here to look out for people's rights. This is going to affect your ability to get your license. But I don't know what your status is in Indiana. Anyway, I'm going to put you in a separate room called a breakout room. You're going to have to hit a button that says join the meeting. All right. Well, while they're talking, let's talk to Heather Schrock. Good morning, Ms. Schrock.
Good morning.
You pull your case up. The allegation in this case is that on or about March 10th, that you assaulted Gary Gilmore, a resident or former resident of your household over in Sturgis. That is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Ms. Schrock, I know from the landlord-tenant case that you and Mr. Gilmore were in that mobile home. You were out, he was in. I don't know exactly what your status is. This allegedly happened back in March. They didn't get around to picking you up until June. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty.
All right. Is he still there?
He is, yes, but I'm not. I haven't been back.
All right. Don't really know much about what this is about, but the safest, prudent course is to plead not guilty. He felt everything was unfair, that nobody was paying his rent, and I don't know what to say about that case. I'm not sure if it's finished yet. Would you like me to appoint an attorney to assist you with this?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set an attorney pretrial for I hate to go this far out. August 7th at 9 a.m. I will appoint an attorney. We only have that address for you, Ms. Schrock. Did you get your fingerprints taken?
Yes, I did. I went Monday, I believe.
Okay, very good. I want you to call the court and give them your address. I don't want to put it out here over the live feed and your phone number. You've done a good job of appearing here this morning, but I think you could use some legal assistance. So we'll set this for a pretrial, appoint an attorney, and we'll send that to you. Call in and give us the correct address.
Okay.
And I'll see you in August. All
Okay,
right, the no contact provision is still in effect. So that is still appropriate. I think you're all right with that. I don't think you want any contact.
No.
Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you. You're good to go. All right, let me just, she hung up. Let me bring Mr. Tate back in from the breakout room. While we're waiting for him, let's talk to Matthew Cross. Mr. Cross, could you unmute your microphone? Good morning, sir. Can you hear me? You need to unmute your mic. Mr. Tate will be back with you in just a moment. Mr. Cross, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Is your car moving?
No, it was my phone.
All right.
I'm in the
Okay.
passenger seat. My mom's car.
I see that. You wised up on that regard, so I'm glad you're on the passenger side. This is file 211212OT. It's a Sturgis ordinance case. You're charged with violating a restricted license. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. It could affect your ability to get your license. Do you have your license now?
No, I don't. I didn't know how I go about getting them. I went to Secretary of State and went to go pay my reinstatement fees, and they told me to take care of my driver responsibility fees. But I think they did away with those.
They did, but there's still maybe some other small fee. They were terribly, grossly unfair. But do you live in Indiana or Michigan?
Indiana.
Well, all right, so you got a further issue. You live in LaGrange. Mr. Reed, what's your position here?
I mean, there's not much lower than violation of a restricted ops. I don't have much lower to go here.
The fine for this would be.
I don't have a problem if the court adjourns it and gives him a couple of weeks to get his license cleared. However, I don't anticipate. My experience has been we do that and we come back and we're in the same position because nobody ever gets their license cleared.
I think you're right. Plus, he's got Indiana issues, and let's see.
Right. I mean, obviously, we'd just be asking for fine and costs. We're not looking for anything crazy here. It is just a restricted ops.
Let's see here.
Mr. Reed, is that an abstractable offense that would, trying to look this up here?
I don't know what the Secretary of State does. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what they're doing with those.
I don't either. I'm looking it up.
Good.
I think it's a moving violation. He has a 2000. He has an unpaid no proof of insurance ticket from 2003 here in St. Joe County that he owes money on. Let's see if I got my cheat sheet that she gave me. Let's see where I find it. It's so old, they took it off. So maybe that doesn't even register. And then let's look at your driving record. Feel a sneeze coming on. Let's see if I can avoid it. I can't even tell where these are. Coldwater. You've got some unpaid tickets in Coldwater, and you've got some issues in Indiana. So the fine would be $200. The prosecutor's not asking for any jail time, but it will go on your driving record to affect your ability to get your license. They probably should have, in point of fact, charged you with driving suspended, but they didn't. So that was a break, which is why Mr. Reed said there really isn't anything much to reduce this to. Do you wish to plead guilty to this or not guilty?
I'd plead guilty today.
Where were you going?
I was leaving the country earth. My little cousin, he had a nasty breakup with his girlfriend. He caught her cheating on him, and I went through that 3 years ago, so I was trying to be there for him, and I didn't have nobody there for me when I went through a bad breakup. And I was just trying to, he was acting stupid. I didn't want him to do anything dumb, so I just tried to be there for him. And I got
All
caught
right.
leaving
Well-
there.
Well, hopefully you could be there for him without driving, but I'm gonna
Right.
give you the standard fine. UTC 5.63A. $75 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee, $200, due by July 31, 21. Can you pay that by the end of July?
I could try to, but
All
if
right.
now I
If
have
you
to call for an extension, but I'll see what I can.
you can't pay it, you can call and ask for an extension. Are you still at East 200 South in LaGrange?
Yes.
All right. Well, I appreciate you're trying to be there for your cousin or your nephew, but stop driving or you'll just keep digging the hole deeper than it is. All right, this matter is resolved. You owe $200 by July 31st. It will show up on your driving record as a moving violation, but I don't know what Indiana's gonna do with it. You got some stuff you gotta take care of in Coldwater and maybe some other
Yeah, I
issues.
didn't, I,
And
forgot, I didn't know about that.
it's a huge pain to have to go to the Secretary of State right now. All right, Mr. Cross, you're good to go.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's return to Mr. Tate. File 211203OT. Mr. Tate was ready to plead to driving suspended, met with Mr. Stickley. Mr. Stickley, what's our status here?
Yes, Your Honor. After discussing the matter with Mr. Tate, we would request the court enter a not guilty plea. It's set up for a pretrial. He's got a little bit of legal spaghetti that hopefully an attorney can help him sort out, both locally with what he owes and maybe can do something with this. He also has a different address. He is a Michigan resident. I advised him that obviously needs to be changed so he knows what to go and where, or what to do and where to go.
Did you get his address?
I did, and he could probably provide it to the clerks on his way out, so he didn't have to broadcast it to the world.
Oh yeah, he's here live. All right, what town do you live in, Mr. Tate?
Portage, Michigan,
Della Street?
611 Della Street.
All right, well, that's the address I got.
And I also have a Michigan ID too. I just lost it.
All right, I'm gonna show you pled no, not guilty. Not guilty. Appoint an attorney. Set for 9 a.m. August 7th. What's the zip?
49002.
All right, Mr. Tate, same thing. It'll probably be that by August. May still be virtual. I don't know. May have to come into the courthouse live by then, but we'll see. We'll send you a notice and we'll get an attorney to help you with this and you're good to go.
Since I paid all my stuff today, is my stuff still suspended? Because they was telling me that it's not.
Well, let's take a look.
I paid $335.
Well, that sounds like it helps. Let's see, you've got a impeding traffic ticket paid by credit card today, so that's good. 2, failed display of valid license paid.
From the last time.
All right, so you're clearing stuff up. That's very good. Well, let me look at your driving record.
I just
Well, if you
actually
only have a
wanted to-
Michigan ID,
Yeah,
it looks to me like you are eligible to get a license.
I have a permit out of Indiana that's valid, but I lost it, and like I moved over to Michigan, and then I owed tickets. I owed tickets here, so I had to pay that, and that's
I
when,
think you're good to get your license back. Mr. Stickley referred to this as legal spaghetti, where it's sort of hanging on to you. You did a lot today to pay those tickets. My advice, and it's difficult to get a Secretary of State appointment, but I would call and try to get a next day appointment. Take those clearances in there with you and see if you can get started the Michigan process. But there ought to be time between now and August 7th. But right now, you're not yet legal. If you can find your temporary permit from Indiana, you might be all right. But right now, you don't have a Michigan license.
yes, sir.
All right. You don't need to stop out at the counter. We've got your address. All right, you're free to go, Mr. Tate.
Your Honor, I would hesitate to advise him that his temporary Indiana permit would be good, as though he's suspended.
Well, it'd be good. It would be good in Indiana.
Right, he's suspended in Michigan, so if he's driving in Michigan, I don't care if he has an Indiana permit, they'll suspended.
I don't think he's suspended in Michigan anymore once he paid off those FACs, from what I can see. But
The
he
ladies
needs to
up,
go to
the ladies up
SOS.
front, they told me that the 324 was holding my suspension. So once I paid it, it would lift right then and there. But if I paid it like over the phone, then it would take 7 to 10 business days.
That's true.
The best advice, make sure you have something in writing clearing your license, because the bottom
I
line,
would,
I
if
got
I
an
were you,
appointment
make
with
sure you
the
got to the
already.
Secretary of State.
yes.
All right, Mr. Tate, you're good to go.
Thank you.
A lady,
All right, now,
a lady told me
John-
not to cut it with the officer on the side of the road.
Yeah. I've got John Spellins here, but I don't have a file with that name. And I've got Brian's Gallery A20. Brian, would you unmute your phone? Mr. Spellins, would you unmute your phone also?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let me find your file. Here it is. It's got purple on it. It's hard to read it. This is a county case. TJ, I think I'm done with you, except for our record on
Right.
that bond hearing. Let me, hopefully, maybe I'll just do it with it. Well, I need the prosecutor.
Right.
Anyway, you say you have no objection, obviously, to reducing your client's bond. Also, I got to find out why you don't have notice of that yet.
Right.
Let's finish with Mr. Spellins and then see where we are. This is file 211150, People versus Jonathan Thomas Lee Spellins. Mr. Spellins, you're charged with operating with no license. You did post a $300 bond. They issued the warrant and then you got picked up. This happened in May of 2021. They picked you up on a warrant. There's more than enough money to pay what the normal fine would be. Let's take a look here. The new prosecutor is preferring to do citations rather than tickets. So for reasons I don't completely understand, they issued a formal complaint rather than give you a ticket. You got arrested and had to post a bond. You had a learner's permit and you were expired. Wow. Rather than give you a ticket, they had you arrested. That's a new policy. Did they actually come to your house and pick you up, or how did you get arrested?
So the day it happened, I was taking my daughter to the store. I got her I had to pull a splinter out of her foot, so I went and got her some stuff to clean it and cover it. I got pulled over. He actually let me go home. He let me have someone come pick up my car. Mom did.
All right, well, maybe they were just cutting you a break.
I've never been through this before. They said that I'd get a letter in the mail telling me when my court date was, but I never got one. So I called last week. They said I had a warrant and that I could come pay it. So I went straight to the court and paid it the next day.
All right. Anyway, this is charged as the old-fashioned no operator's license. It's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. It does carry 2 points and may affect your ability to get your license. You've got that learner's permit. This could affect that as a moving violation. How do you wish to plead to this?
I'm not sure. I've never been through this.
Mr. Spells, let's have a brief conversation with Mr. Spells.
Yeah. Well, on an old-fashioned day, we would have an instant pretrial, but we don't have the ability to do that anymore.
You're not old-fashioned yet, Judge.
I went to great effort to establish that when I was elected to the bench, and we're not using it anymore for those kinds of cases. All right, we'll let them talk. TJ, I don't want to make you stay here.
Yeah, the other question I had on that one, though, is more specific. Why did the court issue a warrant and not a notice to appear? Because I think the court's not supposed to issue a warrant under that new, the court, they can issue, the prosecutor can request a summons, which is basically.
They submitted a complaint with an affidavit of probable cause and requested a warrant.
But doesn't the court have to issue it? I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think we have to. I think I'm not sure if that's a situation where the officer just cut him a break. It would have been easier to just give him the citation. I'm not sure what happened, but the guy, if he hadn't come in and posted the bond, he would have been arrested.
Right.
So that's going to be something that's going to be happening more. Mr. Bryan's Gallery A20, I'm not sure who I'm speaking with. You unmute your microphone. What's your name, sir?
Mr. Gayhart.
What's your name?
I'm Mr. Gayhart.
Who?
Mr. Gayhart.
Oh, well, that's not that hard of a question, Mr. Gayhart. We met before over the years. Let me find your file. TJ, I don't want to make you stay on this feed. We have a sentencing at 9 on Andrew Hartzell, which is yours.
Yeah.
And so maybe you're stuck here for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine being here. Mr. Gayhart's my case anyway.
All right, well, let's take a look at that. If I can find it. All right, this is file 211211, People versus Jamie Gayhart. I didn't realize he was here, but he is here. Mr. Gayhart, you got a ticket in Sturgis on June 13th for driving with a suspended license. That's our most common offense. As I said, it's a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Take a look. It was at St. Joseph Street and North Street at 2115. You got $409 worth of unpaid tickets. You got a retail fraud ticket that was due April 19th or 2 days in jail. You got an impeding traffic. You're pending a jury trial on a drunk driving second offense, and you have no proof of insurance. So there's a lot going on here. And they allege you were driving in Sturgis. Mr. Gayhart, let me look at who's your lawyer on your drinking driving case.
Mr. John Bush, I believe.
All right, well, you're not supposed to be driving. You're on a bond on a drunk driving case. So it's probably the safest bet to plead not guilty here and have me appoint Mr. Bush to represent you. Is that agreeable?
Yes, sir.
You got a bunch of unpaid fines that go back years. You were supposed to pay the fine on the retail fraud by April or do 2 days in jail, but we haven't been doing bench warrants on those because of COVID and other reasons.
I'm just getting ready to start a new job, but I have to find a ride, so it's kind of hard to keep a ride.
Well, I'm not going to ask you where you were going at that time of night. You're presumed to be not guilty at this point. I'm going to, pending OUIL second case. We're about to start doing jury trials again. We got the clearance from the Supreme Court Monday, and we're going to open up 19-55OT. I'm going to appoint John Bush and set an attorney pretrial for 8/7/21. It's a long way between now and August 7th to start sticking stuff in there, but July 2nd is very full at 9 o'clock. I'm going to appoint Mr. Bush. He already represents you on the drinking driving case. Perhaps we can resolve this case and that case together and save a jury trial if possible. If not, you're entitled to have a trial on both matters. But for now, I'll show you pled not guilty. Are you still at North State Road 3 in LaGrange?
2035 North State Road 3, yes, sir.
All right. Well, stop driving, and at least in Michigan. I don't know what you're doing in Indiana. And I'd like to get that other case. It's embarrassing to me to have 2019 drunk driving cases pending jury trial. We haven't had a jury trial in a year and a half, and we're about to start them up. And so we're going to be trying to either resolve the cases or try them one by one. I guess some of the new prosecutors are going to get some misdemeanor jury trial experience, which is a good thing for them. All right. You stay in contact with your lawyer, Mr. Bush. He's going to be appointed to represent you on this. The next hearing is August 7th at 9 a.m. I'm not sure right now if it's going to be virtual or in the real world. You'll get a notice for that. All right, Mr. Gayhart, you're good to go.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you. I need to close the breakout room and bring that dude, Mr. Spellins, back in. Okay, we return to People versus Jonathan Spellins, 211150. Mr. Stickley had an opportunity to discuss this with him. What's the status, Mr. Stickley?
Your Honor, we're asking the court to enter a plea of not guilty and set it for a future hearing. A little time might be beneficial. I'll tell you this, it appears unlike many of these cases that don't resolve themselves, this one probably will and or could. I don't see a reason why it couldn't, to be honest with you. So, yeah.
Would you ask I just set it for a regular pretrial?
Yeah, set it for a regular pretrial and as much breathing room as you got. He's going to try to go to the Secretary of State tomorrow.
All right, I'll set for a non-attorney pretrial 3 weeks from now. Defendant to go to SOS. Now, my advice, Mr. Spellins, I had to get in myself because I'm elderly and I had to go take my eye test and everything again. And I had some trouble getting in. I kept trying to do the next day appointments and I would go for the first one. I would dial in right at the appointed minute and try to get the appointment right at 9 o'clock. And I couldn't get it, kept getting bumped out. So go for a later one, log in and then try to get 10:30 or 11. And you may have more success with the next day appointment. So I'm going to set PT for 3 weeks from now. I won't be here. July 14th at 9 o'clock. I take a vacation every year in the middle of July and I'll be gone then, but Judge Pattison will be here. All right, Mr. Spellins, do you have any questions?
Just July 14th at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. And we'll say, are you still at Maury Avenue, apartment 7?
No, me and her split up. I'm living at my mom's.
All right. Well, Mr. Stickley, did you get his address?
Did not get an updated address, Your Honor.
I'm going to put you back in the waiting room, breakout room so you can give me your address and phone number. Okay, TJ, let's see who hasn't shown up, which is quite a bit.
You say I think there's quite a few based on my list of people.
Well, you have John Elmer Fox, who is senior, who has failed to appear. We'll do an order to show cause. That's an ordinance case. I'm having trouble seeing these because they got purple ink on them, but I think I got it. All right, we'll set him for a show cause.
John Fox is in the conference room.
Oh, he's in the conference room.
Whoa.
Is it showing?
Excellent.
Well, it shows as Antonio Tate, but okay.
Oh, that may not have got.
I didn't, that's okay. I just put it in the waiting room. All right, there we go. Good morning, Mr. Fox. Mr. Reed is here, the city attorney. John, I'm going to ask you to take your bandana and your sunglasses off. You got sunglasses on?
Excuse me?
Could you take your bandana? Okay, I thought you had sunglasses on. Good morning.
My name is.
I was kind of surprised that you weren't here because you usually do show up for your stuff.
I think he's trying to advise the court that he wants to be clear he's not Antonio Tate, which.
Got it. I know you, Mr. Fox. I've known you for 40 years, and I know you're not Antonio Tate, but good morning to you, sir. This is file 211210. John Elmer Fox got a ticket for driving suspended in the city of Sturgis. Driving suspended is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500, and it carries 2 points and requires your license be suspended. Mr. Keith Stickley, the chief public defender, is here. Would you like to have an opportunity to talk to him first?
Sure would.
All right. Are you still on West Street in Sturgis?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me talk to let me close these out. So I can open one without getting sideways here.
This ain't gonna work out on this. I ain't got
Keith.
nothing to say.
It'll work out all right, John. You just have to hit a button.
I'm talking
Mr.
on this live YouTube shit. I ain't.
All right, we'll make it work. Mr. Spellins, you're good to go, sir.
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's try this again. All right, there'll be a button that'll say join.
See, this happens CMH as well. I'm not.
Okay.
In this.
Now,
Laughing at me, smiling in my face.
how you doing? All right. Good.
It's like magic.
Apparently, he's not doing very well.
No, well,
But I did get him connected.
I
All
can
right.
tell you, you're not doing well. You're living where he's living.
Well, I really would like to get Debbie in here, and she's not. She's obviously working on something else. I've got some other things. Let's see what we got here.
They should have
I
probably.
have a 9 o'clock sentence on Andrew Hartzell. He is not here.
I have two. I showed two sentencings with you this morning, Judge, for the city. One, Andrew Hartzell. The other, I'm sorry, Dylan Pendleton, or no, Dylan Krantz. I'm sorry.
Dylan Moon, I think it is.
I have 21-1141 OT.
I have Dylan James Moon.
What file number do you have for Dylan Moon?
202850 and 2851.
No, mine is 21.
I think that may be a Judge Patterson case. Let's take a look.
Very well could be. Keith, you in your office all morning?
I am.
What's your Dylan's last? Oh, I have Dylan Krantz in front of Judge Patterson
Okay.
at 9.
I'll wait. He's on.
Keith, you didn't get very far with Mr. Fox.
No, we're just gonna set up for pre-trial.
All right.
Well, they probably should have charged the guy in the room with him for allowing another, because that was his vehicle that he was driving. That's Rippy.
We can figure that out at a pre-trial. Come on.
All right. Well, okay.
Well, no, that's fine. That case will get figured out, but.
All right. John's probably gonna need an attorney to help him.
Yeah. I mean, I see John daily, because that where they live is not very far from where I'm sitting right now.
Okay. Well,
Most of the time he's on a bike. I mean, so.
it's gonna take 40 seconds to close it.
Did you need something, Mr. Reed?
Oh, I was gonna give you an update on a couple things that we talked about before, about some cases that.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's quite entertaining, actually.
Oh, Jesus.
Mr. Fox, You did have an opportunity to meet with Mr. Stickley, the public defender. He simply indicates the wisest course is probably to get an attorney and set up attorney pretrial. Is that acceptable to you?
As long as the court can appoint it, I ain't got money for attorney. I'd have had one
I
already.
understand. I'm going to set an attorney pretrial for August 7th at 9:30. Mr. Rippey, thanks for bringing Keith over here, or John over here, but don't let him drive your car. John, we'll get an attorney for you. You're still at the West Street address.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not exactly sure what the status of your driving record is, but I think there's a lot of baggage on it. You live in the little town of Sturgis. Every time they see you drive, they're going to pull you over. Did you say you're working with CMH now?
No. I said
Oh.
I tried.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. Well, this doesn't have anything to do with that, but I hope you're doing better. Anyway, the safest course is to get an attorney to help you. So you're both free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said here, Your Honor.
We're all
I got a couple of cases I want to call that didn't show up. Like a bunch of them. I have Dylan James Moon. Order to show cause, failed to appear on 2 charges. Marijuana and driving suspended. I'm going to do bench warrants, $200 bond for file. We have Gerald Seitz on an old 2018 case. I want to get this thing resolved. He failed to appear. He had been set for the day the power went out. I don't know whether he appeared or not. I did a show cause and he failed to appear. 181068 SM. TJ, why don't you go ahead and log in to Judge Patterson's courtroom?
Thank you.
And I'll hope to get Debbie here.
All right.
You already posted one bond in May. Got a new bench warrant. Bond 250, cash or surety. And then I have a bunch of things set for 9:30. 9 o'clock sentencing on Andrew Hartzell. He's not here. We did do Mr. Scoggin. I guess we're good, Keith. I got some PVs, but we'll deal with those here in just a few minutes. Thank you.
All right, see you in a bit.
Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Oh, that's set for 11. Hi.
Hello.
We're good, Judge?
All right, we're good. Thank you. Let me go through those. I want to make sure they're
Okay.
in shape.
There's someone here waiting for paperwork.
Who's that?
No, he was just in the conversation.
Oh, Mr. Fox?
Yeah.
All right. All right, you can have all of those. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna stop recording. We may log, I'll leave the live feed on for a minute. We may be right back. Well, let's see what we got here. All right, we're in pretty good shape. If I can get the prosecutor here on the bond motion on Coburn, we'll be ready for our 9:30 probation violation arraignments. I'm going to take these files out and be back in just a moment. Oh. It's kind of noisy in there. All right, still trying to get some assistance on Mr. Coburn. Mr. Hartzell has failed to appear. Let's try calling him up.
Please leave your message for Dawn.
Well, that didn't appear to work. Good morning. Could you unmute your microphone? Good morning. Who am I speaking with?
John Parker.
All right, Mr. Parker. Where are you now?
At work.
All right. Stay right where you are for just a moment. Your probation agent is not here yet. This hearing is set for 9:30. You're a little bit early, so let me put you in the waiting room.
Okay.
Lights just flickered. I hope we're not having a storm. Can't see anything from in here. There are no windows. No outside light comes in here. And sometimes the weather changes and you can't tell from here. Well, I can't do the bond hearings. I don't have any of the attorneys. I can't do the probation violation hearing because I don't have the probation officer yet. Here's Daniel. Here's Autumn.
Morning.
Good morning. Both of you. Daniel, I didn't know if you were gone again today or not, so I'm glad you're back. Mr. Parker is in the conference room.
Okay.
We'll do that, and I think we're going to have a couple of no-shows this morning. Mr. Parker, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, I'm not hearing you real well. He says he's at work. This is file 201117. It's People of the State of Michigan versus John Earl Parker. Mr. Parker was placed on probation for driving while suspended, and he alleged to have violated his probation by failing to report, failing to abstain from the use of intoxicants, and or take a test as demanded. Mr. Parker has 4 unpaid tickets going back to 2011, 3 booking fees, and an earlier driving suspended payment. According to the court records, it appears Mr. Parker has paid all of those by credit card, and they're pending clearance from the credit card company. Mr. Parker, yesterday, did you come in and try to pay off all your outstanding tickets?
Yes, I did.
That's a good thing. Let me pull this up.
Looks like his fines and costs were paid by bond on this one.
Yeah, he had a bunch of unpaid stuff, but he's trying to clear it up, and I commend that.
All of them should be paid up. Everything should be paid.
Well, you told me that back in July of last year, and it wasn't, but I think maybe it is now.
I got a statement from the courthouse yesterday that said all paid.
All right, well, I believe you. You owed $816 in unpaid fines set for sentencing March Then I sent you to the probation department. You did 6 days in jail. And we did a wage assignment, which didn't work. You ended up just paying everything. So the probation violation petition alleges that you failed to report and failed to test. And haven't reported since April. Daniel, what's the deal here?
I guess he just wanted to do it on his own terms, basically. He paid, the money was paid by bond, so that wasn't even much effort. And I've sent contact letters, tried to call him. He's either just ignoring me or he's never updated his contact information, but he hasn't reached out at all. So I can't.
Well, he's paid everything off, which is why I put him on the probation. He did 2 days up front and 6 days afterwards. So he's done 8 days of jail. The defendant has paid fine and cost. There's no need for further probation. You did 8 days in jail. Well, the threat of this incarceration got you to pay everything, and that's a good thing. I'm simply going to discharge you from probation. There's no need to have you on probation at this time. You paid the fine and cost in this case, and you paid the $816 that you owed going back all the way to 2011. So it's cleared the decks, but the problem is you've got this other driving suspended on your record, which is still going to cause you some problems with SOS. But I'm going to get off your back, Mr. Parker.
Thank
you. You're discharged from probation, no further sanction. $8 days jail is probably enough. Daniel, thank you for filing the PV. It did finally force this thing to an issue.
At least it cleared up some stuff.
All right, Mr. Parker, you're good to go.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. You have a good day.
All right. All right. We've got 2 other probation violations that are not going to be here. One is Wayne D. Talbert, and I believe that's Autumn's file 202601. He's really off the radar here. Autumn, any contact at all?
I have not had none, Your Honor. I try and contact him every month to his report, and he has never returned any phone calls. I have not talked to Mr. Tolbert in almost 2.5 months.
There's an open warrant for his arrest.
Correct, out of his other case.
Yes. He's going to have another one. No bond. See judge. I saw his brother here a while ago. And I said, tell your brother to get in here. And I didn't get it. So I don't know where Wayne is, but he's off the grid. We're going to do a bench warrant, no bond, see judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Then we have Jason Baker, who has also failed to appear. 202256. This is Daniel's case. Put on probation in November of 2020 for use of methamphetamine. Had some struggles in this probation. You haven't basically seen him since April, is that correct?
Yes, Sean, that's correct. And he's been terminated from CMH for lack of participation. They recommended IOP and to do a treatment plan, and he opted not to do that apparently.
We already did one probation violation on this, and I continued it. Do a bench warrant, no bond, see judge. All right, thank you, Daniel. We will be in recess.
Yeah, I'll see you at 1.
I've got a couple sentences at 11, but yeah, we've got some PVs right at 1. Who we got? We got
Sailor and Farler.
Yes.
Sailor, I doubt Sailor will show up. He's dropped off the grid.
Okay, we got a lot of people off the grid, don't we? All right, Daniel, I'll see you. And we're gonna stop the recording. And I'm gonna stop the live feed. We have no more customers. We do have some matters at 11.